Talk shit.
Talk Shit Tuesday.
Yep.
Yep.
Talk Shit Tuesday.
Talk Shit Tuesday.
Yep.
Talk Shit Tuesday.
Shit.
Talk Shit Tuesday.
Shit. Tuesday?
Yep.
Talk Shit Tuesday.
Shit.
Yep.
Shit. Yep.
Talk Shit Tuesday. Welcome to the very first edition of the Talk Shit Tuesday podcast, coming at you from Catman's Corner. I'm your host, Alan Catman, and the first thing I want to do today is give a shout out to our mate Jono for starting Talk Shit Tuesday way back in the day at his place. What used to be a bunch of us just sitting around talking shit about our week over a few home brews will live on in podcast form, and I'm happy to say this first recording was made in Port Noarlunga, the very same place it all started all those years ago. Today's topic is gaming, and I'm sharing the discussion with three guests, Paul, Michael, and Sean. A big thanks to all you guys for helping me out with this first show. And to all the listeners, I do apologise for the sound quality, but it's the best we could do at the time. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy the show.
TST.
Welcome to the first edition of the Talk Shit Tuesday podcast. My name's Alan and I have three friends with me. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Paul.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Sean.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome,
Yeah.
Alan.
Thanks for having us.
That's alright, that's
Lovely to
alright.
be here.
We're here in Port Noarlunga and it's raining. The rain may come through, but that's okay. That's okay. We're also lit by candles because...
Can you give us a guarantee that this house doesn't leak?
No, I can't. Actually, if you look up there, there's a little bit of foliage coming through,
Oh yeah.
and
I can't see it.
yeah, that's alright.
Anyway,
Everyone listening in can see that as well.
Yeah, they sure can.
Yeah.
Yep, they sure can. So, the subjects for today, first of all, video games, something we can all relate on, all four of us. And I wanted to put it out there, first of all, what we're all playing and how we're doing with it. So, anyone want to start? Well, I'll start. I'm playing Fallout 3 again because I wasn't playing it when I bought it because it reminded me too much of Oblivion.
That
but
same
now I'm into
engine.
it. Yeah, same engine. Them same engine woes. Them same voice actor woes. But now I'm
The
playing
one guy.
The
The
one
one
guy.
voice actor.
The one guy that does them all. Because
Yep.
they obviously didn't have the budget. But I'm enjoying it. You know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So Fallout 3 or New Vegas?
Fallout 3.
Okay.
Fallout 3 here. New Vegas on 360.
Is 3 the one where you can detonate the nuclear bomb in the...
Right at the start.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got disappointed when that didn't go off straight away. I stopped playing.
Short attention span.
I was like, well, they're all dead, so that's it.
Yeah.
Game over.
I just kind of like, it's funny how different people play games differently. Like, I love exploring and I love just getting into situations where you're kind of making up your own meaning to things, not necessarily doing what the game is asking you to do. And that's what I love about RPGs. You can collect stuff, you can give your character a backstory, you can do all that sort of thing if you really want to. It's good.
I like that.
I never played Fallout much, but the thing I always wondered about it was, you play something like Skyrim, and the world is like, it's all literally alive because you have like plant life and animals and everything like that. Like, what's the sort of open world like in terms of Fallout if it's post-apocalyptic? If everything's kind of dead, how do they sort of populate the world?
I guess you're just scrounging for stuff. Like, a lot of the stuff you find is scrap metal and bits and pieces. And when I first started, I thought, oh, I need to get all this stuff so I can build things. But then you realise it's just not really useful. But some of it is.
Explain Fallout to someone who's never played it.
Like you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's just like, because I'm going to miss a lot. Because I don't really take notice of certain things. But for me, it's about the vibe. And I've also played Stalker, which is a PC-only game. And the vibe is just, everything's fucked. You don't know what you're going to encounter. It's kind of like you
Dark.
can't... Yeah, pretty dark. Pretty dark.
You've played Skyrim, yeah.
Yeah.
It's made by the same people.
Okay.
It basically, it literally is Skyrim or one of those kind of games, but the setting is different.
Okay.
So it's like after a big nuclear apocalypse, and you have guns and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you start off in a vault. So basically, imagine, all those freakish people who are kind of like preparers for the apocalypse, who have like a vault ready underground and stuff in the States and whatever. It's the bomb's gone off and they've got to their thing, and then they're just coming out to the wasteland and going, fuck. And whatever.
Whole new life beginning.
Yeah, after like 50 years or 100 years or whatever, until they can survive up there. But things are irradiated, so you go up to water and you drink the water, and it says like +2 rads, so you're actually hurting yourself over time. Kind of like if you went to Chernobyl.
Radioactive water, is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, they weren't saying like rad.
Rad water. This is great water.
So +2 rad.
It's like
Well, yeah, I haven't played it. I don't know.
it's alright. If you went to Chernobyl right now and drank
probably
the water,
die.
You'd have a lot of rad water.
it's like I was reading a thing about Hiroshima and people who were drinking the water straight after the bomb, and people were saying to them, "You're going to die," and the person telling the story is like, "And they did," because it's just really, really radiated. Pretty interesting stuff.
Interesting.
So you said Fallout 3. So what's Fallout? I've never played any of the...
I didn't really play the first two, but they were cult classics. Did you play them?
I haven't played them, but they're kind of completely different in a
Well,
way.
they're like Diablo. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
isometric,
looking, yeah.
There's a like top-down sort of
Yeah.
games like
How far
Diablo.
back do they go? So if the first Fallout was released, when was that, like original Xbox, or was it
I
like...
think
No,
it
no,
was
no,
PC, wasn't it?
PC only, like
Yeah.
way.
94,
I'm not sure.
95
Yeah, not
maybe?
in the
Yeah.
90s. Yeah,
Yeah.
way back.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, I see Fallout 3 as a bit of a reboot.
It-
Kind of like,
Yeah, I feel like that as well.
Yeah.
but it's got the same, ideas and whatever.
Yeah.
It's interesting, when you think about games in the 90s, I was never someone who played computers.
Mm-hmm.
All my gaming was all console based, and
Yep.
I feel like I don't have, when it comes to gaming, I don't really, what am I trying to say, like I don't really have a specific genre I've always liked. I've just always just played games for the sake of someone telling me to play one, or
Okay.
I don't think I actually have any specific thing I enjoy doing in gaming. It's weird, I don't know how to explain it,
Yeah.
because I know you guys know all these rad tiles of games and that sort of thing, but when I think back to when I was younger and I was playing games, it was purely just like Tony Hawk on PlayStation.
Mhm.
If I did go over to a friend's house, it would be like a Red Alert, like the original.
Oh,
Red
Red
Alert.
Alert,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I used to play that heaps. That's a mad game. I actually can't find that anymore. I wish I could find that game.
Total Annihilation was good as well.
Dude.
Yeah.
Good game.
Alan, big TA fan.
Yeah. I played that for so long because I got the add-on pack as well.
Oh,
but
the mods with the Krogoth and all those
yeah,
other big
and you got like the
dudes.
nuclear weapons, and then that's when you could destroy towns, and I was happy.
I remember doing that over modem play with a friend from school, and we'd literally be at school, be like, tonight, TA, and it would just go from when we got home to dinner time, and then usually until about 10 p.m.
Because you used to lose so much time playing it, because you get so engrossed in
Yeah.
it, and then you'd be like, oh.
Because it's like
Where's my
SimCity,
life
but
gone?
you get to destroy the city with mechs and stuff.
Strategy games like that, there aren't that many of them being made these days.
Yeah.
Like base building,
Yep.
kind of like you're saying, build your base, then destroy their base. Strategy games now have to have some sort of twist. It's
Yeah.
like, you can have stuff like StarCraft, but the base building's not the same, and it's
Yeah.
kind of all tuned for like esports. Or you
I
have
find
like
games like StarCraft, you can't enjoy them much, because I tried to play it, and really like it's the multiplayer online is really where the game takes off.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
But if you're not even at all good at the game,
Mm.
it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you try and play it, and before you know it, you got someone who can do. It's all about how quickly you can do all different specific things.
Yeah, it becomes
And
a
by the
sport.
time you've just built your base, they've already attacking it, and it's just like, how can you actually enjoy this game?
It's kind of like when I'll play, I agree, and when I'll play certain games that I like that even with the campaign or something, I'll just get bored and think,
Yeah.
like a good example is a really hardcore racing simulator for me. Like I might have to, it's a learning curve to figure out how to go around the corners, how much you have to brake, and using a controller that is pretty difficult, like an Xbox controller or whatever, I just don't have the patience. So I'm just like, put in grid, put in Need for Speed, have some fun. Unrealistic, but who cares? Or
Yeah.
Burnout, which is just ridiculously unrealistic.
If
But
you crash, that's the actual purpose of the game, is to crash.
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that was like Gran Turismo, how you had to get like 70,000 licenses before you could really do anything.
Yeah.
And like, you got to stop in this distance. It was like, nah,
It's just a
I'll
job.
just crash.
Yeah.
It's
I
kind
love
of just
that.
a job.
You
So
love that
there
style.
are some
Yeah,
players
yeah.
that love that. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm interested in. What I was going to ask you guys is when you play a game. I mean, you probably approach different games in different ways.
Mhm.
But like with FIFA, for example, because that's something everybody here plays. do you approach it thinking, all right, it's more of a like, I want to win this game rather than I want to have a good gaming experience, you know, because it's a sports game, obviously. And would you look at that with a racing game too? You don't want to like have a good drive and feel like you've done a really, like, what is it? You obviously want to win, but
No.
no?
No.
Wow.
It's not.
okay.
It's not about the winning at all.
Right.
It's about.
That's cool.
It is about the experience. It's about the immersion. So if it's like, FIFA's a good example.
Yep.
That when I play like the career mode in FIFA and like take over like one of the clubs, like obviously I want to win and stuff like that. But for me, it's more about it feeling real
Yep.
and that kind of thing. So like, there are plenty of ways you can kind of exploit the game in FIFA or other games. You know, in FIFA, like to get the best players and things like that. You know that, you know, if you just kind of do this sort of thing, then that player will join your club. I won't do that because it's not real.
Yeah.
And I would rather lose and have the experience feel real
Yep.
than win at any cost. And
That's-
that's kind of how I play most of the games I play. Like, I would rather have it do badly at it, but have the experience be sort of more immersive.
I think it's something that we talk about a lot. We like things to feel real.
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, playing a soccer game, for some reason, to me, it's more fun if I'm fighting for fourth place than winning the whole league.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because it's more real. I would hate to run away in a league and win by 100 points or something, because that's just
Yeah.
not as fun.
Is it kind of like, I can relate because if I'm playing grid and I'm kind of doing it seriously and I start a race and I crash a bit and the guys go straight ahead of me, part of me is like, I want to restart, but then I think, no, you know, I should just keep going, see if I can fight back and get there.
Yeah.
And when I was playing, I think it was grid 1, sort of seriously in, I guess, hardcore mode or something like that, or whatever it was, just before extreme or whatever, it was kind of like, you know, it was good to make mistakes because then you might finish 5th, but then you say, oh, I have to come around and try again, fix my car, whatever, you know. And that is better than just, because otherwise you're never going to have a perfect run. So you're constantly restarting, and it's just this whole resetting of your experience back to normal. It's like playing a gig and being like, hey, everybody here, all 400 people, I fucked up, we're just going to start it again, and then constantly doing, like, what's that?
Yeah.
Like
Just keep
Sean
going.
and I have talked before about doing in another game, Project Cars, doing a endurance race that goes for like 6 hours or something like that.
Happy with that.
And it's like, but the point of it, like, we've never spoken about this, but I know that for both of us, the point of it is not to do 6 hours and win.
No.
The point of it is just to do the 6 hours.
Yep.
It's just the experience of taking turns, racing for 6 hours, doing the
Like
pit
literally
stops.
shifts.
Yeah, that kind
So
of
like
thing.
race for an hour each, or if you start in the field tired, swap.
Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's not about the winning, it's just about the experience there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what games? I mean, I've said I'm playing Fallout 3, and we sort of went off on a bit of a tangent, which is great. But what games is everyone playing
Right now,
right now?
I'm playing Formula 1 2015. I'm actually playing a lot of that at the moment.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it actually
Keeping the
come-
driving thing going.
Yeah, and it actually comes back to what you were just saying. So when I first started my season, right, like I started one season, but I didn't continue with it because I wasn't having as much fun. But then I started a new season, and then maybe in my first 2 races, there's an option where you can do flashbacks.
Yeah.
So say you start the race, you've somehow managed to get a great pole up, so you're on pole. First corner, you get taken out, and that means you have to maybe you got a puncture. You got to go around the whole first lap, doing like 10 kilometers an hour while everyone else is racing, and by the time you get to the pit lane, you know you could
The
almost
race is-
be
the race is
almost be a
over.
lap behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in my first few races, I was actually using flashbacks, and I
So
found myself.
what are flashbacks?
Oh, so flashbacks are, say you crash, you can go back, watch the replay, and it gives you an option within a space of 15 seconds to start from that point. So you pick, say you crash, you'll rewind it back, say 10 seconds, hit flashback, and it will take you back to that moment, and you can do that. You can relive that 10 seconds again and do it differently.
Didn't Grid do that as well?
Yeah, good had.
I think
Yeah,
they might have been the first to do it.
Yeah.
And then since then, like Forza has it,
I
and
love
F1
it.
has it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 So what I was trying to say is the first couple of races I was doing that, and then still finding myself winning or coming second. And then after a while I made the decision, I'm like, this isn't real.
Yep.
If I lose my front wing on the first corner, I lose my front wing.
Yep.
And ever since then I've been doing that. It's been a lot more fun. And it is quite exciting to almost go a lap down and then see where you can finish. So like in Formula 1, top 10 receive points, and that goes towards the championship. And obviously at the end you want to be the champion.
Yeah.
So if you lose your wing, go basically to the back of the pack. To me, it's exciting to go. Even if I get 1 point from this, I'm happy with that.
See, I find part of being the champion in terms of a game or life or something you're doing, for me, isn't in the winning of something. It's in the did you do your best sort of thing, or did you accomplish what you wanted to, regardless of whether other people think you did or not.
Yeah.
So I relate that to things like music, for example, or comedy, or whatever you might go ahead and do. So you're saying, like, when you sit there and you know the race is about to start, you're feeling probably a little bit nervous, a little bit ready, a little bit, fuck, there's a lot riding on this. It's just a game, but in some sense.
Especially because now I'm getting towards the business end of the season and I'm winning the championship by about 10 points.
Yeah.
So every race counts. So it's between me and another specific driver.
Yeah.
So during the race, I'm watching where he is as well. And like, if I see that I've lost my front wing and I see him go off into the distance, I'm like, dude, I need to get as many points as I can from this race. Otherwise, eventually, I'm just not going to be able to catch him.
And
that
there's
sort of thing.
Exactly, and there's a lot of like, there's something in that kind of immediacy and that bringing you into the moment of like, okay, I can't sort of go back on this. Like I can relate, and I keep thinking about getting on stage, because if you're in the studio recording, you get plenty of chances to do it. But when you're playing live, you have to prepare all your stuff, make sure it's all going to work, and you have to know your stuff well enough to be confident enough to know that you'll be able to do it and come back from a fuck up or whatever. And that moment, you're not thinking about, oh, did I pay the rent? Did I do this? Did I do that? You're just literally there. And I think with games or with whatever it is that you're doing, if there is that risk involved, I guess, it becomes more real and better, so...
I want to put a question to the group. Okay. So I was holding out for Formula 1 2015 from when I heard it was going to be released. So they came up to the date when it was going to be released, and then they came out with the release. It's going to be pushed another month, and I was really angry about it because you're excited. I haven't played an F1 game since like 2010, and it's a next-gen console, so I was really excited to see what this game was going to turn out like.
Yeah.
And then we get the game after another month, and it's just Bug City.
Yeah.
So the question I want is, would you rather, for the sake of wanting your game to come out so badly, have it released but be buggy, or would you rather than release a statement to say, look, it's actually not turning out as well as we thought it would be, give us another 6 months and the game will be polished? What would you prefer?
I would prefer it to come out 6 months later.
You would?
I think of titles like Quake 3 that I still play, that are just so well balanced, so well rounded, and they flow well, and there is no interruption to the experience. Like, I think it's things that will stand the test of time, and I'll use music again because it's what I know. If you're recording an album and you've got all these fans going, we really want to hear it, blah blah blah, and you're listening to that going, oh, we better appease those people, and you rush it, and there's like click noises in it, or there's some problem with it, but you're like, well, at least we got it out to those fans. In 10 years, someone might come across that and be like, oh, it's pretty shit. But if you spend that extra time, in 10 years, it might be a classic,
And the developers of the game, like, what's their mindset? Like, they would know that there's bugs in it.
It's not their call though.
It's not.
No, it's the...
So what they would have, the developer is different to the people that, or like a person that develops the game and then the platform that's releasing the game.
The publisher usually. So you'd have like the developer. So I'm trying to think of an example. For something like F1, I think Codemasters do it all.
Okay.
But in a lot of cases, you have a developer who's making it, and then a publisher who's basically, they're fronting up with the money and they're funding it. And the publisher is the one who gets to call the shots because they're paying for it. So they would say, oh, we need it to be out by this date because they need money or something, and so it gets put out. So I think most of the time it's not. The developer
so they were
would
probably
be
already annoyed that it was being delayed a month.
Yeah, probably.
Just get it out.
And the developer, I think there's a fine balance there, because the developer would probably want to work on it forever. It's like any sort of piece of work, it's never finished, and you do need someone to come in at some point and just say, stop, this needs to be released.
Oh, and then they say, we can fix this in a patch. Is that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But like, in answer to your question, I'm with Alan on that. I would rather it's delayed, however long, and it comes out and it works when it comes out. Like, and the way I think about it is, there's no shortage of other things to play in terms of games. Like, maybe for some people who...
But if you had a specific game that you've been playing and you heard there's a newer, better version, next generation, graphics are going to blow you away version, and you know it's going to be released, but then it gets delayed 6 months, surely there's a bit of...
Of course.
There is.
Yeah.
But I think, like, having experienced it so many times with different games, I think that from the experience, I know I would rather it be delayed.
Okay.
I would rather have the 6 months wait and play and it's awesome than get it early and be disappointed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could liken it to food, you know, and say, would you rather your food be good quality and you're waiting another half hour, or it's burnt and you get it straight away?
Well, yeah. It's like, do you want a palmy that's like pink chicken, or do you want a lovely juicy white one?
Yeah. I could go at palmy actually.
Yeah, think about that.
What do you think?
Oh well, I'd rather wait and have it work. I mean,
Was it a silly question?
no, not at all. Like,
Yes.
so I think the best, I think the best thing about games now is that when they don't work, you have the ability for a patch. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
when I used to play on Sega, like I had like a couple of games that were just so buggy and broken that
That's
that was it. Like you had to wait till the next year. Like
Yeah.
there was no anything.
I feel like their meetings have been, well, it's a game.
Yeah, well, it's out
There's
now,
that
so-
there's that famous ET game on
Yeah.
like Super Nintendo which
Yeah.
you can't finish because it's
Yeah.
just broken.
It's actually
They could never fix that.
there's a really good documentary on Netflix about that game, but they dug
Yeah.
up the like they went to the landfill where they buried
That's
all
right,
of them, and
they
they dug
did,
up.
yeah.
Really good.
What's it called?
E.T. dug up.
We'll just Google that.
E.T. dug up
I don't
movie.com.
know anything
Okay.
about this game. This ET game.
Yeah, it
Bit of a
was
classic.
just like a kind of side-scrolly game for Super Nintendo.
And then you fell into like
So
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
So what
Like
happens at the
holes.
end where you're saying where you can't finish it?
It was
So
a-
you fall into
there was a
hole
point in the game that you'd fall into a hole
Yeah.
and you couldn't get out,
you just
And that
stuck
was it.
there.
and there's no way around it. And the
But it
game
wouldn't freeze. It would just sit
No.
there and
the
play its
game was
music.
the
loop
game
it.
was so bad that they got every single copy and took it to like the middle. I think it was like New Mexico desert, and they buried it in a landfill. that bad.
Yeah.
Imagine the colony that finds out 3,000
It just makes you wonder.
This
like,
was human culture.
yeah.
broken.
It makes me wonder about things like that, because I read magazines sometimes and I notice so many spelling mistakes and grammatical errors, and I think this isn't just a little error, this is the or something like that. This is a very obvious thing, and they have editors, they have people working on these things, but it's kind of like, is the rush and is the push so hard from the people with the money that these people, even if they are doing a good job, are just so stressed out they don't notice it? And you think about a game like that probably was rushed, and there was probably a movie coming out at the same time or whatever, and they went, we need to cash in and whatever, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just didn't test it. Because
Yeah.
can you imagine not testing it?
Yeah.
Because if
Well,
you
I think-
tested it one person, you would notice that.
I think that's the story in the documentary. They go to the guys who actually made it, and it was something like they just didn't get time because they needed it out before.
Because it's a
before
movie
Christmas.
time
Yeah,
and
because
everything
it's a
like
movie
that.
and everything.
Yeah.
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 So what have you been playing, Michael? Or did you introduce yourself as Spice?
I don't know. No, Michael. I do
Okay,
want-
all right.
Yeah,
You are a spicy character.
Yeah.
Formal town.
Well, nothing really at the moment. It's like because I just finished Batman Arkham Knight, and now it's just in gaming purgatory. Like because there's nothing out that I want to
Okay.
play.
Like I said, I've heard that's bad.
Yeah.
But the only reason why I've heard that game is bad is because I was in a JB Hi-Fi. I don't know how sometimes you guys decide I'm going to play this game. So sometimes I'll go through JB and see a game and literally Google it and see reviews on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because I don't know much about the game. And
Man.
sometimes I'm not willing to risk my money to buy it and have my
yeah, I
own
do that
opinion.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
saw that, looked it up, and I just read many reviews of it being not what anyone expected and not happy.
yeah. It's like it's the Batmobile side of it. It's just the worst thing that's ever been done because it's like they thought it was such a cool thing to put the Batmobile in the game, but it takes away from what made those games so good. Like it used to be a stealthy, you know, you're Batman, you hide in the shadows, all that kind of stuff. But then it's like all of a sudden you're Batman in a tank, and like you've got to take out these other tanks, but you can only shoot them in certain spots, and you've got to wait for 10 seconds for the cannon to like load up into a spot. It's really, and it's just,
Is that the whole game or is that part of the game?
I'd say it's like 60% of the game. It
See,
feels,
I thought-
it feels like.
I thought Batman movies were free roaming, explore Gotham City. See, that's what I thought the game was.
it used to be.
You
that,
might be like on a high-rise building and then see something happening on the street where you can be Batman and help, but that isn't what it is it?
it sort of was, but
It still has that
it's,
stuff in
it's
it.
still in
Yeah.
it, but like you spend so much more time in the Batmobile driving around, and the thing handles like a shopping trolley as well. Like it's just the worst thing. Like when you turn it, like it's got these things where like the wheels turn sideways.
So
as
what
well.
tank does it have? What movie?
I don't know. It's just like a
Is it because I know they have specific Batmobiles in different movies?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just its own.
it's
It's
just
its
its
own
own sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But like, I don't remember Batman ever having like a proper tank, like
No,
this
no.
thing, like with a
No.
gun coming out of the top.
I just remember the normal black car with the flamethrower at the back.
Yeah, that's what I want. And but like the bit that made it fun, like all the stealthiness, is sort of like
Gone.
it's just gone.
So are you happy with the game?
I don't know. Probably not. It's the story, like, because I don't want to spoil any of the story, but it's like it sort of builds you up and just lets you down, and it's just like one of those games where like
Oh, it's finished.
I couldn't wait for it to be finished, so because I could be like, yeah, that's right, and
Yeah.
I knew it, but it's just I don't know.
Did
like,
you play all the other Batman games?
Yeah, like what was it, Arkham Origins and
Asylum
City
and
and
City.
Asylum, yeah.
Yeah, because I played Asylum and City,
Yeah.
and I have Origins. I got it like super cheap way after it came out, but I have an Xbox One now. Arkham Knight is out, and it just looks better.
It's way better.
Like the trilogy is sort of Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, isn't it? Arkham
Yeah.
Origins is like a prequel that sits on
Yeah,
its
it's
own.
like, it's like before Asylum.
Is it worth playing, or should I just skip it and get Arkham Knight?
I mean, it doesn't tie into the story or anything. It's
Yeah,
more
yeah.
because it was made by a different developer
It was,
as
yeah,
well.
that's right.
So it wasn't Rocksteady; it was someone else. So,
But
you could miss it. and
is
you-
it good, or is it
It's
sort of
pretty much an Arkham Asylum,
yeah,
just in a city. Like it's
okay?
it's got a good storyline, but I mean, I didn't. That's probably the only one I didn't finish. Like the first two I finished.
Yeah,
but this
yeah.
one was
I love
just
the
like,
first two.
Yeah, first two are really good, but
So the Batman series games is a game that when you see its release, it's a game that you buy instantly because you've just always played them.
yeah, and plus it's Batman.
Okay.
Yeah, what kind of things do people have that they can't be without? Like for me, when Wolfenstein came out, the new order one, when I saw what it was like, and I saw it had the feel of the old school Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and it was id Software, it was that kind of one of my favourite developers who also did Quake 3. I was like, I need this, to the point where I bought it and my computer couldn't run it, and I went about. First of all, I had to update it, and then I went through this whole rigmarole of getting it working, and I couldn't get it working. And then when I was at a friend's place, I sort of begged him to get a computer built for me so I could play it, and I just had to play it. So does anyone have that kind of thing that, regardless of how much money they've got, or whatever, they just have to play it?
In terms of games.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I think for me, and I think for Michael and Sean as well, every year that's FIFA,
yeah.
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what they do
Mhm.
every year,
Yeah.
and it's
And this year seems to be leaps and bounds above any other year in
Yeah.
probably 5 years.
yeah.
See, I remember
this year,
actually.
this year we're excited, but previous years we all buy it, and then
Yeah.
we sit around a couple of months later going, "Oh, they really didn't do much with FIFA this year."
Yeah.
But there's no suggestion that we wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
You
No.
still have to get it every year.
So Paul prides himself. I used to have them. I traded them in, which I didn't do. But he's got like from I don't know, was it 04 all the way to 05 FIFA, all the way
yeah,
through.
I've only got 08 now.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you had-
I had all the old PC ones back to like 96,
or
and I had
France 98.
I had 96 up to I can't remember what. There were a few years I missed in there, but I traded heaps of them in as well. All my old
I
PC
would
boxes.
rather now, instead of trading anything in, just have all of them just sitting there.
Yep.
Well, I've got 94 and 95, which were on Sega, and then I think I've got 96.
Do you have a
on
Sega
PC.
still?
Yeah,
I would love to actually go
yeah.
have a night and play 94 FIFA. Could you imagine?
It's so like there's
It's
no.
so bad.
It's international only.
That's the international
and
soccer
there's
one,
like
yeah.
and there's no real players. Like
Yeah.
they're all made up players.
I remember, I don't know if it was that game or not, but it was FIFA or some sort of soccer game 98. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be $30. No, it was supposed to be $100 or something like that. It was on Mega Drive. And I remember saying to my mum, look, if you buy me this, you won't need to buy me anything for like a year. And I was giving her the whole, I'm a kid talk, I need this thing. And it turned out when we brought it to the register, it came up as $30. And we just kind of went, oh, yep. And then I said, so can I get another game? She's like, no way. That's it. I just got lucky kind of thing. But I was going to say, I remember being in EB Games with you, Paul, when the UEFA Champions League game, FIFA game was out.
Yeah.
And it was $100. And you
Yeah.
were like, I'm only going to play this for a month. Was it a month or 2 months or
Yeah,
a certain
yeah.
period? And you're like, but I still got to do it. And I kind of like that because it's putting the experience you're going to have over your logic. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like how I put all my money into music and then go, oh, I can't eat for a week. Damn
Mhm.
it. but I'm still going to do it
Yeah.
because it's what it's about the experience.
That one was very specific. It was a game based around a tournament which was on at that time in real life.
Right.
So it was sort of like, if you don't play it now, there's no reason to ever play it again.
Yeah.
You got to play it when it's happening in real life and you're in the moment.
For sure.
So that was very sort of
$100
specific like
is
that.
a lot of money though.
Yeah, but that's how much the game costs. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah,
I did
I
the
know.
same thing for the World Cup game. I think World Cup South Africa.
Yeah.
I bought it and I played it for maybe a month for the World Cup, and I don't even know where it is
Did
now.
the Vuvuzelas make it into the game?
Yeah, they're in there, but they don't hear the noise because it came out before the World
Really?
Cup.
I don't know how I actually handled watching World Cup, but anyway. We'll just
drop it.
We'll just go next on that one.
Just drop
Yeah, that's the thing about, like, I'm thinking about it in relation to music tickets. Like, if you didn't buy a ticket because you were like, oh, it's a bit expensive, and then you heard a lot about the concert and you thought when you were older, man, I wish I'd gone to that concert because that front man of the band died or something, it was your last chance to do it. It's, in my opinion, not always obviously, because then you have no money to eat, but there's certain things you have to go, I'm prioritising this because it's important to me.
Mhm.
And so I get that. And I, like, on a logical side, people might go, especially if you're on a budget at the time, oh, that was a dumb thing to do, Paul, or whatever. But it's not. I think it's just a matter of how important something is to you.
I just want to say, if these podcast episodes had titles, this one will be called Alan's Music Analogies.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to happen. That's definitely going to happen. But
I'm happy with it though.
yeah, I mean, we can leave it there, or did you want to go on to
Game seems to be
Stuff.
flowing, but
Yeah, well, I can talk about what I'm playing.
go for
Um,
it? I haven't done it yet.
No,
Of
no,
course.
that's
Very
not
sorry.
allowed.
I've been playing Skyrim again,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
which, similar to you playing Fallout, and I think you've played Skyrim. Have you played Skyrim, Michael?
Yeah, I had it on PS3,
Mhm.
and there were so many bugs in it that I had to actually returned it like
Wow.
2 days later
The
because it was
PS3
so buggy.
version was like notoriously bad.
There's like there was one bit where like you just did like everything disappears and you're just on like a plain green like land and there's nothing and there's nothing you can do to get out of it. No matter what you do, like if you restart it, it's still there.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Just,
that's
and
a
it was the
question. Do
worst.
developers prioritise a platform over others?
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that can be a prime example. They prioritise PC.
With that whole generation, I think there was a thing there where the I don't know the technical stuff, but the PS3 was significantly different from a 360 and a PC, that it took a lot of effort, much more effort to make a PS3 version than it did to make a 360 and a PC version, because they were relatively similar. So for a lot of games, you'd find that the PC version's decent, the 360 version is decent, and the PS3 version isn't quite so good because
Yeah.
it took a lot of work to make a PS3 version.
Because it came out a lot later than everyone else
So it's
was.
still just
Yeah, because it had like all the add-on packs in it. Because it was
Yeah,
like the
that's right.
deluxe edition, but
Yeah.
it's just unplayable.
How much did you pay for it?
I think about it was on special, so I think it was probably about 49. But
You
it's
got
still
49 back.
yeah.
No, they told him you've played 10% of it, so
Yeah.
we'll take that money.
Yeah, no, EB. The good thing about EB is like you've got a week to play it, and if you're not happy with it
I
in
didn't
a
even know
week,
that.
Yeah.
yeah,
that
do it.
for
Like,
it, yeah.
I've had games where like if anyone from EB's listening, this does not happen. Where I finished it within a week and I've taken it back and got the money.
Do you know what? I
Yeah.
tried to do that with a game. It was Deus Ex, the shitty Deus Ex after.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
Invisible
Like,
War.
Invisible War.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember bringing it back and being like all smug and like, I don't want this. And he was like, you've scratched the disc. And I said, what? He's like, I can only give you store credit. And I was like, show me the scratch. And it was literally a hairline.
Oh.
But he was like,
Still
there's
a
nothing I can
scratch.
do. Still a scratch. Can't resell it. And he's like doing this on the desk with his pen, kind of like all smug. I'm like, store credit then.
Store
That's
credit's
fine.
fine.
That's fine.
I'll just
No
get
worries.
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah.
play something else.
That's
mate.
what you would use the money for. He thought he won.
You should have used the store credit to get another copy of it and then given that one back.
That's fantastic.
Oh my god, next time. But anyway, Paul, continue with your.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing Skyrim on PC, and
Is it Skyrim though? If you're putting mods through it,
yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm playing Skyrim with a lot of mods because I played it originally, but for various reasons I had to stop playing it after only a couple of weeks, and so I didn't get into it again till months after that. And by that point, the moment had gone, and everyone else had stopped playing, and there were new games, so I moved on. But now I've come back to it, and I'm using a whole bunch of mods to make it what I want it to be. But it is still Skyrim.
Okay.
It's still, you still have your skills and all your sort of gameplay and your quests and everything like that all works exactly the way Skyrim did. But I'm using mods to make the weather more realistic. So because Skyrim is all set in sort of the north and it's all snow and mountains and things like that, the cold has an effect on your character, and you have to make sure that you're keeping the character warm, otherwise it has sort of detrimental effects. And I've got a bunch of mods which mean that like hunger and thirst and tiredness are now a factor. So you have to eat and you have to drink and you have to sleep.
Coming back to our real...
Making it more real. Yeah, it's all about the real. So it makes it more difficult. It makes it much slower to play, but it's all about the real. It's all about the immersion. And so I don't care that it's more difficult. I just want the experience to be better.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah.
But I also...
Is that hard to explain to people? Do you reckon there's other people out there are like, how could that possibly be fun? It's hard.
I think Skyrim's the kind of game that it's sort of made for that in a way. If you want that experience.
You'd only play if you were keen and that sort of thing.
Or with those mods, that kind of thing. But when I play any of those games like Skyrim, this is just something I have to do, is I have to impose rules on myself to make it fun. Because if I just play the game as you can play it, it's too easy to exploit. It's too easy in Skyrim to just go into sneak mode as you can, steal a bunch of stuff, sell it, and you've got heaps of gold, and now you can buy a house and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I find that if I do that, it gets old really quickly because I can just do whatever I want. So I have to impose rules on myself to do things like, say, you can't steal, or
I'm happy with that, though.
or you can't fast travel and things like that. If I want to go somewhere, I have to walk there.
Is Skyrim the game where you could put like buckets on people's heads and steal stuff from the room?
That's exactly the
Yes.
game.
Great game.
And it's that kind of stuff. I'm like, I force myself never to do that because it ruins
Just
it for me.
continuing everyday life, but there's a bucket on.
Yeah. Oh,
See,
there's
there's
nothing going on.
There's a guy who does a YouTube Skyrim sort of podcast thing where he films himself playing it. He films what he's doing.
Mhm.
And he takes that to the extreme. He actually talks back to the characters after they say the dialogue.
Yeah.
His name's Nagadal, and he's kind of weird, but it's amazing to watch because he will go into the thing and they'll say, "Oh, how have you been? The travels, good sir?" And he'll say, "Yes, not bad, good, yes." And he'll say, "Oh, do I want to pay two gold for this spoon?" And kind of like every decision is agonized over.
Yeah.
But then you watch how he plays it, and it's really
He
interesting.
role plays it all.
It's like a movie.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's in control of it. But
Yeah.
that idea is like, I totally get it. I mean, I remember with Stalker there was an inbuilt thing with the first game where it would say, a little thing would come up saying knife and fork because you were hungry and you had to eat some tourist delight, which was a can of food or a piece of bread or whatever, in order to get that to go away. It's very small, sort of thing, but it made you realize, like you're hunkering down, under a tree, and you know there's a guy in the distance who you've just looked through your scope at, but he can't see you yet. You're eating bread. That kind of makes me go, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
How great a game. It's like,
Yeah,
how
games
great
are good.
a game.
So good.
Out of curiosity, who here has played a horror-based game? I've never done it, but I've actually
Resident Evil.
watched people play a horror game online, and I almost feel scared just watching that.
Yeah.
See, I'm not
Yeah.
someone that can deal well with horror movies in
I've
general.
played 'em.
Have you ever been in a dark room,
Yes.
headphones on, playing a horror game?
I can't do it.
I love
I
it.
don't-
Too
yeah,
scary.
yeah.
Way too scary.
Yeah.
I tried. The only one I really tried in terms of like proper horror games
Like, I'm going to try and get through this.
was the original Dead Space.
Yep.
Which the ones after that I've heard are like way more actiony. The
Yep.
original Dead Space, because I can't stand horror
jump
games or any
scares.
jump scare stuff. It's too much for me.
Yep.
I just
Yeah.
totally shit my pants and I'm out. So, but Dead Space, because it's sci-fi and everything like that, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I tried to go the whole way. I played it only at night with the lights off with headphones.
Yep.
So
because I wanted the full experience. Like if I was going to do this, then it had
gotta
to
be
be
real.
everything.
That is a good game.
But I probably got 2 or 3 hours in, and I was just like, I can't do this. My nerves are just shot after like 5 minutes of playing.
I can't remember, there was this game I had for PS3, and it was like a full horror game, and like, it was like the full-on like jump. It was I think it was a shooter, but like everything was like jumping out on you and stuff, and it used to scare the crap out of me.
There's those games like They're called Amnesia and things like that. Which,
Five Nights at Freddy's.
yeah,
Slender
I've never
Man.
played. Have you played those, Alan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had a sort of scary game party with some friends of mine,
Yeah.
and we played
That
Amnesia.
sounds like a good time for someone who'd enjoy that.
I think I could watch someone else play them,
It's even
but I
that
couldn't.
time, man.
I couldn't do it myself.
Okay.
Amnesia, like I remember playing that, and basically you have no weapons. I think this is what it was. You have no weapons. You're running around, and things are coming at you, but you can't fight back. You just have to flee, and that's most of it.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Stop talking. Stop talking.
It's incredible, and like
Even though it's a
thinking about-
game, you know, this is a game. I'm only playing a game.
Yeah.
I still can't. But I guess it's the same with movies. But that's another.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah,
But I
that's
just
it's interesting, isn't it? How we seek out those experiences or not. You know.
I think the game was, by the way, was The Conjuring 2. I just remember.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Awesome.
just the name sounds.
Just The Conjuring 2. And I remember because you turned like a monster, like randomly as well. Like you just turned to this big like "Bleh," sort of thing, and yeah, it was just like random. Anyway, carry on.
So when you're playing them, you feel fear, but it's not something you run away from yourself. You're like, I enjoyed that scare.
Like,
Let's
there's
go
a
find
point
another
where I
one.
can't deal with it,
So
and
you put
I
the
just
mouse
get
down
very
and run
vocal.
away.
I just start whining like a little bitch and yelling and curling up, and but I want more. I want to test myself, you know. But it is sometimes I'm just like, no, can't do it. Just like Paul was saying,
Yeah.
because I've got Dead Space 1 and 2 on PC, and I remember getting
Literally right there.
almost
Literally.
almost getting to the end of Dead Space and just being like, well, actually the thing that's tripped me up was a really difficult part with the big ball that was just going like this, and I just like, don't want to do it. But the scares, it's like the struggle is real, because Dead Space 2 I stopped because of the scares. It just became too like, there's like this part I'm at, you know, now where there's this kind of nursery and there's all like flesh coming out of the walls and whatnot, and you see where kids would be playing, and then something comes out with 6 limbs and you have to shoot off its tentacle, and you're just like, yeah, it's really fucked up.
Is that in Dead Space where like you go outside into space and like everything's silent, all you can hear is you going like,
Very
like,
immersive.
yeah.
I did play some of those when I played it. It's
Yeah.
a really good game.
Oh, yeah,
But it
good
was
game.
just too much for me. I couldn't handle
Too
it.
much, just shooting pants and
Too much for a baby.
That's another interesting question would be, so I can already say now that even if you told me it was the best graphics in the world, best game ever, I don't think I could play a jump scare game.
Yeah.
Being a developer of a jump scare game, is that like a cost you just have to wear? Like there might actually be 50% of the population that would never buy your game.
Yeah, probably.
It's definitely like, it makes it a bit of a niche straight away.
Yeah.
You know, if you make a shooter, heaps of people are going to play it. If you make a survival horror jump scare shooter, you instantly cut off a whole bunch of people who just won't play that. But I guess those kind of games, you know, they tend to be smaller. Like that Amnesia series, they're all kind of
That's
indie
very
games.
fair,
They're
yeah.
very short, so they're sort of low cost budget games because they have a smaller audience.
Well, there's one coming out soon. I think it's on PS4 and Xbox One, and it's just like, you know, remember like Heavy Rain, the game where it's like a movie, but you just sort of make the choices. Which, if you ever get a chance, go onto YouTube and look at the Heavy Rain Sean glitch. Funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, Sean. Anyway, it plays like a horror movie, but you make the choices, so there's no real like shooting or anything. You literally watch the movie and then like you choose to run or.
and it's
And
got
pretty good.
it's got Hayden Panettiere
That's
from Heroes in
yeah.
it. What's it called?
Oh, is it
Oh, Until Dawn.
Until Dawn? That's
Until
it,
Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for that actually.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of that, and it looks like you're just playing a movie.
Yeah, because it's like
That's
a
what it looks
slasher sort of like.
Yeah. It's like it's like a teen slasher movie. It's
Yeah.
a bunch of teenagers all at like some sort of like house that they've rented up in the woods, and then, you know, serial killer person.
This
Right.
reminds me of who's played the last.
You shouldn't play it.
No, I'm already scared.
Who's played The Last of Us?
I have.
You have. Right, now I've played the start,
hmm
but that was enough for me to go, I need to play this game.
Yeah.
And would you consider that, it's not really survival horror, but it's got that kind of element of, you know, you're not as in control as you might be in like Duke Nukem or whatever.
It does. I would say firstly that Last of Us is the best like linear narrative game I've ever played.
Yeah,
I think
cool.
Last of Us would be in my top 5 games of all time. I think it's incredible. It's not jump scary though. It's
Yeah.
more atmospheric.
I remember being
And-
instantly drawn in. That was
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of the
and
things.
you do have control, and a lot of the situations in the Last of Us are fairly sort of open.
Yeah.
So there's sort of like these kind of like infected zombie creatures that you have to deal with, but it will often put you in an open area, and there are 5 infected, and you have to deal with them. So it's not like Dead Space or those other games where it funnels you into a corridor and then throws things.
Is that
at
the one
you.
with the guy and the girl? Like
Yes.
kind of little girl. And it's like, I think it's made by
Naughty Dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uncharted and all that kind of.
Yeah. So you were going to ask your question.
Yeah. My question is to the group.
Mhm.
Is when I was younger, I played a lot of games that involved starting the game from zero, obviously 0%, playing the entire duration of the game, being immersed the entire time, and having an ending and enjoying the ending or not enjoying the ending. But that was the game. At some point in my gaming, I've lost that interest, and I cannot remember the last time I started and finished a game. I'm just wondering if you guys...
Well, I mean, like, I go back to Batman Arkham Knight. Like, I've finished it, but I'm at 62% of the game. I'm never going back to finish that game. I'm just like, well, I'm done now. I've seen the story, and I just don't feel like I'd have the same, like, emotional investment with it as well. Like, to find, like, you're supposed to find Riddler trophies. It's like, well, the game's over now, and I can't be bothered playing that anymore.
Yeah. I used to kind of have that completionist thing.
Yeah.
As in, if I'd finish an Assassin's Creed and I'd be at 75%, it would just bug me so much that it's only 75%, and I'd want to go back and do all those kind of things. But at some point, and this is only recently, I sort of forced myself to not do that anymore. And I don't know whether that's maybe partially due to like time restraints. Like, I can't just play an Assassin's Creed game.
games are getting released so quickly.
Well, more that my life's more busy.
Okay.
That I don't have time to play games all day anymore. It's
Yes.
not like the World of Warcraft days.
Yeah.
So I just have to prioritize more. So I have to be like, this game's fun, but I'm just going to do the bits I really like and move on, and that kind of thing.
I could... You said then, World of Warcraft. I could talk about that game for hours.
Mhm.
And I think I could put down my whole scenario I was saying of not now finishing games. I think I might actually... The origin comes from starting to play World of Warcraft. I think
The game with
that,
no end.
The game with no end. And I got so immersed in that game where I don't think, for at least 3 years, I don't reckon I played many other games at all. Do I look back and think that's a waste? No, I don't, because I actually really enjoyed that
Yeah,
at that point
of
in
course.
time.
See, that's what I think. I think the quality of your game time should be your enjoyment level. How high is that? Rather than
Not
your-
how many games you've played or
yeah,
something
or how
like
many
that.
you finished, or how well you did it, or how
Yeah,
quickly you
yeah.
finished the level, or whatever the stats-based thing is. And the reason for that is because a part of me is always, unless it's a really good game or a really good show or movie or whatever, part of me knows it's not real. This is just a thing designed to make me have an experience, and I have to believe it. It's almost like having faith, you know. But that sounds a bit weird as an analogy, but you have to believe it's real for it to be real, even though it's not real. And so I'm really impatient now with games. I just get to a point where if I'm not having fun, I just turn it off.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time to, because I've got music, I've got other things I want to accomplish.
But why are you not having fun? Like, do you
It's
think...
frustrating.
Okay. Because
So-
there must have been games back in the day where it kept me having fun the entire time and it didn't feel like it was a chore to finish it.
Yeah.
Are games different now, or...
I think we're different, but games are different. But I think we're more different because, like, I remember that feeling too of like, oh, this is annoying me, but I'm like, and then you get it, and it's like, yes.
See, I think for me, like, I was like that when I couldn't afford to buy games myself. Like, if I was getting them for like Christmas or something, like I was like, well, I can't wait. This is all I've got till my birthday. But now it's just like, oh, I'll just go buy another one instead. Who cares?
I think what you're saying there is
Hits on the
really hitting it on the head there. That back in the day, you had that one game, and there was no option to just go, this game's shit, I'll go and get another one. That was the game you had. So you played it and you kind of forced yourself to enjoy it. Whereas now, like, you can play a game and be like, yeah, this isn't very good, I'll just go and get the new F1 game or something like that. But sort of from what you were saying right at the start, in terms of like different kind of game, the two different kinds of game there, sort of the game that you play from start to finish and then stop, or the game that's just sort of open and keeps going. Like, I kind of play a bit of both, but I get what you're saying because I enjoy the open game that never ends so much more. Like Skyrim, FIFA, the kind of game that just, like EVE Online, that kind of stuff, those sort of MMOs where you can just keep playing and there
Are
isn't...
we in that era of MMOs that is the game that everyone's more drawn to now than the start finish style.
I think so because it gives you more control
What
over
would,
you.
what would the last start finish game be that you played?
The last one I played is probably the Game of Thrones Telltale game. Did anyone play the Walking Dead Telltale games? They're sort of
I
like...
tried.
Yeah, you tried to play them?
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah. See, I really liked them, and the Game of Thrones one is probably the last start to finish game that I played.
The only one I can think of is Tomb Raider Legend, and that's going back to 2005.
Not Wolfenstein?
I didn't finish it. I couldn't.
Okay,
I didn't have access to the computer for long enough.
I've never been stuck on. I don't know what level it was of a Tomb Raider game for like. I reckon it would have been months. But I just tried and tried and tried. I don't think I ever got it.
Yeah. But this is another good question. When you get stuck, do you go to walkthroughs or do you figure it out?
I go to walkthroughs pretty fast.
Yeah.
Just because
Time
well, not time restraints, but sort of back to when we were talking before about what you enjoy in games. My enjoyment from games, basically every game except FIFA, my enjoyment is, and FIFA is also kind of a thing, but it's not winning, it's not knowing that I've done well, it's the experience. So if I'm stuck and I can't move forward, looking at, some people would say that they can't look up a walkthrough because, you know, they have to find the solution themselves. I don't care. Like, if I'm not having fun, I want to move on and get to the next bit. My ego takes no hit from having to look at a walkthrough.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I would rather keep going and seeing
I hate
what's
when
a
you
game.
get to a point in a game where you're stuck and like you spent enough time looking at how to do it and you think, Google will be fine for whatever, just to move on to that next
For
bit.
those sort of like linear start to finish games, I want them to be easy.
Yeah.
I don't want challenge. I just want the narrative and the atmosphere, and I don't want to get stuck.
See, like, I like both. I will get to a point where I'll look it up, but I was brought up with first gaming systems, a Commodore 64, and because there was not much internet back, well, there was no internet as far as I knew. Basically, we didn't have any instruction booklets either. We got the games on a tape.
Yes.
That had been
Love the tape.
pirated, sort of thing, from an uncle or some shit. So it was just basically like, you've got the game, and that's all you've got. You don't have the internet to look anything up. And it was like me and my dad playing, or me and my sister, or whatever. And so it was like, okay, well, you just figure it out, or you play something else. And there was something good in that, but at the same time, there's a lot of games I didn't finish.
I think
I might have.
the worst thing about Commodore 64 and the tape was that it took like 10 years for the tape to load. And I remember I had a Ninja Turtles game, and it took about 3 hours just to load the game. And like, you'd play it for 5 minutes and you'd die. And then you'd have to do the same thing over again.
Because it was
That was just such a pain.
Because it was like a copy tape. There was one game that I played once, and it never worked again. And I was like, in my head, that was the best game ever. But it wasn't probably actually that good at all.
Yeah.
But just because it didn't work, it's like promised land, you know? You want to go back there, but you can't.
My first, now we're sort of trading stories on first gaming experiences.
first game.
That's cool. I like that.
My first gaming system was just PC. And you know how, Sean, you said before that you played console games like all the time. Mine was the exact opposite. I did not have a console till Xbox 360.
Wow.
And I played consoles at friends' houses and things like that, but I was PC all the way up till, and not even when the 360 came out, like years into that generation. That was when I got my first
I actually think I
console.
remember it being a big deal when you made the call to get a 360. I think
Yeah.
I remember that.
Because I'd just
I'm
been
actually going to get one.
all PC before that.
I remember
And
that.
then red ringed.
And then, I had two that red ringed. Yeah.
Wow. So you were basically like, I made the wrong choice. I've gone down the dark path as PC.
Was it a bit like that when you first had it for the few months? And you're like, hang on, I've actually spent this money that I could have used to upgrade my PC. Was there a big hurdle to actually get over that?
No. Like, I think this is a whole other topic that we could get into another time about console and PC and what are the pros and cons and stuff. But no, I sort of, just to sort of briefly answer it, I feel that they're like, there's good things about both. Like, I would not sort of pick a side and just stick to one. That kind of thing.
It's a time and place, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, the question that I want to ask everyone was, what games are we all looking forward to for, say, the rest of this year? Games that are announced. So not games that we kind of want, but games that we know are coming out.
Fallout 4.
Fallout 4, yeah.
Yeah. And not that I'll be able to play it, probably, but just the idea of there being a better Fallout. And I'm gonna just put it out there. We probably won't go into it, but in terms of what I'm looking forward to in the gaming industry as a whole, is just all the VR stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely a whole nother topic.
It's definitely a whole other topic, but I just want to put that out there.
In terms of Fallout 4 though, you can run Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
As far as I know, I could be wrong, it's the
Same
same engine.
Well,
So I think you probably can run
I
it.
do have 3 video cards in there that I can test. So
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
think you'll be good.
Yeah.
Yep,
okay.
I'm calling it now.
Happy with that.
Cool.
Big call. Sean?
I've actually drawn a blank at the moment, but I think this comes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't think I've ever been that well educated with gaming. I know that sounds funny.
Yeah. No, you mean like not like finger on the pulse, sort of knowing what's
so
coming.
I don't really have any idea what's coming out or anything like that, but I'll get recommendations from you guys, I'm presuming.
Yeah.
And then that's where I'll sort of make my choices. I always hear you guys talk about games that I probably don't even know existed, and I don't know where that comes from or how I don't know. Or
It's just like you. I think Paul's the most well informed, or I'm not sure about of all my friends in terms of what's coming, because I guess you've got news sources you're subscribed to and that sort of thing. I mean, I might check out game trailers now and again. I might hear about something through my Facebook feed, but I'm kind of like that, Sean, where I don't know a whole lot, and I'll hear about stuff, and I'll be like, oh, I better check that out.
see, like, okay, so an example is yes, I was very excited for the new F1 to come out, but that's a big interest of mine outside of gaming, so that I just knew about it.
Yeah.
So the small obscure games that people talk about are really good,
Yeah.
but I would have no platform in my bubble of life of knowing that they exist.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I'm kind of like that with the whole soccer thing. You know, like I quite enjoy watching soccer, but it's only when you guys will say, "Oh, there's a big game on," that I'll come or I'll watch at your place or whatever.
There's something fun about that though, and like Sean and I actually had this conversation the other day about music, about the fact that when we were young, we used to have our finger on the pulse about what bands were releasing albums, and you knew when everything was coming out.
Yeah.
Now, neither of us have any fucking idea about. And there was a band, Coheed and Cambria, that we both really like, that we were talking about, and then I looked up their Wikipedia, and it turns out they've released one album 2 years ago that neither of us even knew about, because we just don't pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah.
And that it's not bad that you're not sort of in that bubble and knowing those things, because
All of a sudden, we have 2 fresh new albums.
all of a sudden you have new stuff, and it's the same with games. If you're,
Exactly.
you know, it is fun to kind of follow the news and know what's happening, but it's also fun to just have nothing to do with that and just have someone go, "Have you seen this game? It's really cool," and then you have a cool game to play.
Yeah,
exactly.
and it's like because if it's someone you know has your taste, they've almost reviewed it for you.
Yeah.
And you can be sure. It's kind of like there's certain bands I like that I know when they release something it's going to be good. You
Yeah.
don't know if you're going to like it as much as the other stuff, but you know the quality is there
Mhm.
because they're those types of people if you follow them enough or whatever. Same with gaming in a way, and same with movies in a way, like if it's the right director or whatever. And so I love the idea of having not seen something or played something or whatever or heard something, but knowing that it's going to be an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And not anticipating it is good sometimes. Just being surprised.
Yeah.
The fact that it's out.
Yeah, definitely.
So
And
yeah,
I
I
think-
totally agree.
Having your own bubble and not knowing what's coming out in relation can help you. So, like, I was saying how the game for F1's buggy and all that sort of thing. If I didn't know about that game, then maybe I went back to it in a year's time and it's polished. You don't experience any of that.
Yeah.
All the stuff like fixing
Teething
things and
problems,
That's true.
so
Yeah. And I guess that's the big thing with MMOs, you know, that early phase when they're like really buggy
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
might just play it 6 months later and it's all good.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you've missed all the headache and drama,
Yeah.
and you've missed, and you've just had time to fix it. So
Yeah.
there's that positive out of it as well.
Did you have a game you're looking forward to?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Actually, I have two
Two.
games.
One. You have to pick one?
No, I'm going to pick two.
Okay.
That's my right. Well, I mean, the first one's obviously FIFA, and it's the
Yep.
worst thing in the world
Mhm.
that I'm not going to be able to play it like 2 weeks after the
We'll make
release
sure we
date.
post on your Facebook.
Oh, I'm
Do
avoiding
you want
Facebook.
to tell everyone listening why, for the first time in decades, you
Well-
won't be playing the new FIFA day
Well,
of
like,
release?
yeah, it will be like the first. It will probably be the first time I haven't played FIFA on the day of release since 2000.
I would love if you can make a
4?
pact right now. That tell them why you're missing it first.
Oh, because I'm going overseas. So
Hang on, no.
Why?
Why going overseas?
because I'm going on a football tour. or slash a honeymoon.
Slash a
apparently.
honeymoon.
Well,
Slash a honeymoon.
It's more just a football tour. Yeah, but
Hopefully Michael's
on
wife is
your
not listening to
Yeah,
this.
if you're listening, it's definitely a honeymoon there, and we're definitely doing everything you wanted to do. There's no football tour involved. We're just
It
going to
did
go
take my
everything
friends
else.
to remind me 3 separate times that actually what your trip's about.
Yeah, I know.
I want you to get a photo inside a game store playing
Yes.
the demo.
Oh, I will be.
Yeah.
Photo proof.
Yeah, I will. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
find a whatever.
They have EB games and stuff.
Yeah,
all that.
they- okay, cool.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna be so upset knowing that on the 24th or what I think it's 25th.
Yeah.
When FIFA's released, that I'm not gonna be playing it because not like usually, like that day of release, I just either call up sick to work because I'm actually sick work, or I have
I remember those
an
days.
annual leave day, and I'll just go to like EB at like 8 o'clock in the morning, get FIFA, go back and play for the rest of the day.
That is gaming in a nutshell.
Yep. The FIFA release, though, for 3 of us here at least, it's one of the highlights
It's
of the
like
year.
it is the highlight.
I
of the
have
year.
been. I've been waiting outside Big W before the store opens because another one of our friends, Flynn, worked out that was the place that opened earliest to get a copy of FIFA.
so good.
So he would pick me up at like 8:15 in the morning, and we would go down to Big W and wait. We'd be sitting outside the store at 8:30 when there were all the shutters up. We'd be the first people in.
Another subject for another day, though. Digital releases now. Does that take away that feeling?
Yeah,
Duh.
that is another subject.
Yeah.
What was the other game?
Oh, the other game
Forward
is
to?
now I gotta remember. I'm so excited I can't remember the name of it. Just Cause 3.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I played Just Cause 2, not Just Cause 1, because I think it was only on Xbox at the time. But number 3, just because it looks just so crazy. Like
it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. Like I want to put a grappling hook to a gas canister attached to a soldier, and then watch him fly off into the moon. Like that's
Yeah.
that's the best game ever. Just I can't wait. I think it comes out in I think December,
Okay.
possibly. But
See, now you mentioned that game, I'll probably go home and watch the trailer for
yeah,
it.
and you will love
It
it.
looks like
It's
such a
just,
good like open world sandbox.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want sort of game.
like crash a
No
plane into
rules.
like an army base and just like jump out as it's about to crash. Just
Land
go-
and then keep going.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's insane.
Just
Yeah.
do things that look cool. And
Yeah, and it's all. I
Mhm.
think it's supposed to be framed like an action movie sort of,
Yeah.
like sort of style. So it is like everything is over the top.
I played Just Cause 2. That was pretty interesting. But
Yeah.
It got to a point where I was like, I don't know where I need to go, and it's kind of getting old doing this.
Yeah,
same trick
I
over
found the
and
same
over again.
problem, but
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that like maybe 3 months, it's great. Just
Yeah.
to like
Yeah,
just
I
have
do.
a bash. Like,
And that makes me think, this is my sort of question to the group real quick, like the fact that you can control your world within the game, whether it's like an RPG, most of us seem to gravitate towards, apart from FIFA and our things we like a lot, these games that you have the most control. And I think for me, it's when I'm really immersed in something, it's such a good feeling to feel like you're able to, influence this world so directly and so with such a range of things, and you can do things you wouldn't be able to do in real life. That's one of the big draw cards for me in games.
Hmm.
And if it feels like you're like, I wonder if I can tip over the barrel, or
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
can get in the. Yep, it's letting me do it. That's such a good feeling.
Yeah, yeah. Like in terms of sort of interactivity in games, like I agree that sort of thing about being able to interact with things in the world, like tip over the barrel or affect things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In terms of sort of having control, like sometimes I kind of like the idea of the game world being bigger than me.
Right.
And my character being insignificant. And I think that's one of the reasons I like EVE Online, the MMO that I play so much, is because you really are insignificant and you can just have no effect, but the world goes on around you
Yeah,
and things
that's
like that.
interesting.
So I kind of, and that's why I kind of like Skyrim as well. It's that Skyrim feels like the world is still going, even while you're walking around, even though technically, it's not.
Yeah.
It feels like the world is alive and you're just a visitor to that world.
That's
And I kind of like the idea of not being the powerful one and not being in control. You're just a person passing through a world that would continue to exist without you.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's sort of the fantasy that I like in games.
Yeah. I had another really quick question. What if you had to choose to live in a game world in real life? What game world would it be?
I remember having this conversation with one of our friends previously about this, and I had always said the question then was framed as what sort of fantasy or science fiction world, not just game world.
Sure.
But at the time then I said Star Wars.
Yep.
but I don't know if that counts for this. I think, if it has to be a game world that's
There are
originally
Star
a
Wars
game world.
games.
That's a legitimate
There are
answer,
Star Wars
I think.
games.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's a tough question.
It is a very tough question.
I'd say Grand Theft Auto World because like no consequence.
No consequence.
Yeah, right. You just
But I
wake
mean,
up in a
no,
hospital.
but that
Just wake
means
up.
if you're in that world, your life would cease if you died once.
No, I wake up in a hospital.
Sorry?
I wake up in a hospital.
This is a big question.
But you have to be a gangster for the rest of your life.
Oh, you saying
But
you
do
live
you?
in the
Do
world?
you?
Do you though?
Well, I
Do you?
don't know.
Have you ever played Grand Theft Auto
Can you
by
just be
obeying the law?
Can you
'Cause I
just
have.
can you just be the
Yeah.
pedestrian who gets run over?
Wow.
Oh, that's true.
And
That's
that's-
deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
So yeah, I guess there's a more fine print to the question. Is it you live as if you're a character in that world, so everything applies to you that happens if you're a character, or is it just you're living in that world and someone's playing the game in the background and you're just living in that world?
Yeah.
That's a really
See,
good
I always
question.
thought like The Sims.
Yeah.
Like, what happens if they were like real people and we were someone's Sims? Like
Oh.
someone's playing
Oh, that's
us.
cool.
Now we're going down the rabbit hole.
Oh,
Let's
that's
avoid that question.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good
We're
question.
not characters and we're not
Yeah.
just going.
That's a good question, I think, to think about and maybe come back
to
to with answers that we've thought about.
No, don't.
Yeah. But I will just put out there that I also think the Pokemon world would be really cool to live in. And that's not a joke at all. It would be really, really cool.
Okay, but if you were in Pokemon World and you're at Professor whatever his name
Professor
is,
Oak or whatever.
Professor Oak, yeah,
Yeah.
and he said, okay, you've got Squirtle, Bulbasaur,
Yeah.
and
Charmander.
Which one would you
Charmander,
go for?
no question.
Charmander. Oh man, I think I'm going for Squirtle because like
Yeah.
he looks heaps friendlier, and like when he
Yeah,
gets evolved into Wartortle and Blastoise,
Yeah.
I think he looks less threatening than Charizard. Like I think I could take
But isn't a
Squirtle
Pokemon
into a bar.
your friend and you got no chance of harm? Or
No, Charizard's a bit of a bitch later on in the cartoons. Like he's heaps
I don't know
disobeying.
nothing about Pokemon. So
I remember watching in the mornings, that's all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I guess what I was thinking of was like the same rules of life now apply, but
Mhm.
you just wake up, like say you wake up in Skyrim, you wake up in an inn, and you're like, everyone's real. It's not a game world,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you're basically in that time,
Yeah.
in that kind of, and the the Nordic people
Yeah,
are
yeah.
in charge.
There's no way I'd choose
Stop.
Skyrim.
Yeah, no, that was the
Well, no, you
my
could
example,
choose
I thought.
Skyrim because you could just walk into like a deli and put a bucket on
On
someone's
someone's
head.
head. Yeah. But you mean real world rules.
I'm thinking that's where my question came
I would never choose Skyrim because I would feel like it's like that, what I consider ridiculous sort of romanticizing of like the medieval
Yeah,
era
it
where
would be
everyone's
way
like,
hard.
I wish I was born in the Middle Ages, and it's like, what, so you could die
No
when you're
one.
30?
Yeah, you know what I was
Of,
thinking?
some disease that they can't cope with.
It'd be great to live
a common
in like,
cold.
Yeah, like the common cold.
imagine living in like Mass Effect time, you know.
Yeah.
Or like some sort of Star Trek world, you know,
Yeah,
500 years
yeah.
in the future. That would be cool. I
Th-
think
those kind of worlds.
I would
yeah,
say
that's
Star
cool.
Trek for me. Like
Star Trek,
that.
yeah.
Imagine
Idea.
living in a FIFA world where you're just in the crowd.
I did think of that when you asked the question. I was like, can I choose Football Manager?
Yeah.
I thought about it with, you know, the racing games where there's a cardboard cutout and they move like this.
Yeah, they sort
as
of
the
move
car goes
sideways.
by. You just get to see through those eyes.
Like,
Just hope that people
But
do
like,
interesting races.
you're stuck there forever,
Yeah.
just watching one race go round and
The
round.
highlight of your day would be when someone's being a dick and doing donuts in front
Yeah,
of you.
yeah,
You're
like,
like, what's going to happen here?
But you
This is really exciting.
Yeah.
I've got no answer. I really don't have any answer. I don't think I've ever thought about that hard enough.
Mm.
That will be something I answer.
Angry Birds world.
Another
Yeah,
time.
No worries. Well, it's been fantastic, guys. A lot of fun. And
Happy with that.
yeah, I'm happy with that.
We're all happy with that.
I think we're happy.
Dinner time.
See ya.
Would you rather head of an elephant, legs of a horse?
Straight away, I think legs of a horse.
So do I. I'm leaning towards legs of a horse.
Yeah, but if you put it this way, like you've actually got like horse legs. So if you break them, they're putting you down or making glue out of you. So, but if you've got an
So
elephant,
human body.
yeah, human body, horse
So-
legs.
But do you have you just
Well, I
have
mean, like four, so
you
my
just-
arms and legs.
yeah, that's
No,
what
you
I
got
want to know.
horse
That's what I want to know.
just
Just
one
two
kind of-
horse
No,
legs
you've got two horse
and
legs
human arms.
and human arms. Yeah,
Oh, right.
and but you got an elephant's head, so you got a big trunk.
Yeah, and a massive head.
Yeah.
And really big ears.
Yeah, huge ears.
I mean, like,
I mean, do I have a
aesthetically,
human
like,
neck trying to support this elephant head?
Let's assume that whichever one it is, you don't just die instantly.
yeah, you're not gonna have an elephant head, and you're not gonna stand up.
Yeah.
I still go horse legs because there's a way you could almost still hide them. So you can almost still be a human.
Yeah, but
And
imagine
then when you go
trying.
home, you just kick them out and just.
In the
Imagine
circus.
finding a pair of shoes though, like, well, you'd have horse shoes, I guess, but.
You know what? It's, for me, it's totally just an infrastructure thing. Because if I had an elephant's head, I can't get through doorways.
Yeah.
Those two
I
examples.
feel like
That's the thing I thought of today when I was driving. I was just like, what would I rather? Horse legs or elephant head?
I feel like horse, like you say, in terms of like practical day-to-day stuff, you could deal with horse legs. It's a bit fucked, but you could get by with that. Like you couldn't drive a
That's what
car
I
and
mean.
things like that, but there are other ways to get around. But
Well, you run.
you could run, yeah, you could get places pretty fast. But an elephant, I just feel like elephant head is just too
awkward.
difficult. It's just
Yeah,
too
but
difficult.
imagine how easy it would be to pick up food on the floor.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
How often do you eat food off the floor now, though?
Well, I mean, like, if I drop something, I'll be like, is it worth saving?
I just don't feel like I would take the elephant head on the off chance that I need to eat food off the ground.
Also, communication. Could you speak to people with an elephant's
Well,
head?
Baba spoke.
Yeah, Baba, and he's a real elephant.
There's a topic. It's not Baba, it's Baba.
No, it's Baba.
Baba.
Happy with that.